The image represented a celestial body of immense importance. The object's sheer size is one of the strongest pieces of evidence suggesting that this was not simply a star or artifact. Those who analyzed the image pointed out that, unlike nearby stars, this anomaly had depth, coloration, and structure that indicated it was far larger than initially assumed. Based on its visual characteristics, many estimated it to be comparable to a planet, possibly even larger. The two sweeping arcs of light extending from its surface added to its mysterious quality. Some speculated these arcs were signs of motion, evidence that the object was not stationary, but traveling through space, perhaps trailing plasma or dust in its wake. Others suggested the arcs could signify the presence of rings, similar to those of Saturn, though far more luminous and pronounced. What distinguished this object from stars in the background was its consistency of shape and brightness. Users of Google Sky at the time noted that stars in the surrounding region were easily identifiable, and this anomaly bore no resemblance to them. It had the visual weight and presence of a planetary body, yet one not documented in any public star charts. Amateur astronomers were quick to voice their opinions online, with many insisting that the image could not be dismissed as an error or glitch. The argument was simple. If this were a common star, then why had the image been censored and the site temporarily disabled? The censorship became the heart of the controversy. In the world of astronomy, transparency is a cornerstone. Every discovery, from small asteroids to distant galaxies, is meticulously catalogued and shared. The sudden concealment of this object sparked fears of intentional suppression. Skeptics argued that if the object was harmless or unimportant, there would be no reason to obscure it. The act of hiding it seemed to confirm its significance. Various theories have emerged regarding the true nature of this body. Some believe it could be a wandering planet, a rogue world drifting through the galaxy without a host star. Such objects are believed to exist, and their detection is rare but not impossible. If the anomaly was indeed such a planet, its sheer proximity to be visible on Google Sky would make it an astronomical event of great importance. Others suggested it could be a brown dwarf star, a celestial object too massive to be a planet, yet too small to sustain nuclear fusion like a true star. This idea, while speculative, resonated with those who have long entertained the possibility of unseen stellar companions within our solar neighborhood. One of the most compelling aspects of the discovery is how quickly it was buried under silence. Enthusiasts who saved copies of the original image circulated them widely, ensuring that the anomaly was not lost despite its erasure from the platform. For them, the existence of such an object is undeniable. Their frustration, however, lies in the lack of official acknowledgement or explanation. The silence from institutions left an information vacuum, which was quickly filled with speculation, theories, and warnings about what such an object could mean for humanity. The debate also touches on the broader issue of access to space knowledge. In an age where digital platforms provide unprecedented access to data, moments like this remind the public that not everything in the sky is meant to be shared openly. The possibility that data could be redacted or censored creates unease, especially when the subject appears to involve something of planetary size. For many, it reinforced the belief that some discoveries are intentionally kept from the public eye to avoid panic, confusion, or inconvenient questions. Further intrigue came from the object's visual properties. The orange hue at its core, paired with the white flares on either side, gave it an appearance unlike ordinary planetary images. Some observers likened it to depictions of celestial bodies in ancient texts and myths, seeing it as a modern echo of stories about fiery objects crossing the heavens. Others argued that the coloration indicated it was not only massive but active, potentially radiating heat or interacting with surrounding matter in ways that suggested it was alive with energy. The blackout of the image did not erase its impact. On the contrary, it elevated the mystery, transforming the object from a curious anomaly into a subject of global speculation. Forums, blogs, and discussion groups were flooded with debates, some arguing for scientific explanations, others convinced it was evidence of something far more significant, perhaps even something that challenges our current understanding of the solar system and beyond. Regardless of the theories, one fact remains. A planet-sized object was visible on Google Sky. It stood out clearly from surrounding stars, and shortly after its discovery, it was deliberately obscured. For many, this sequence of events speaks louder than any official statement could. It suggests not only that the object was real, but that it carried implications deemed too sensitive for public discussion. The event has since become emblematic of the larger debate about secrecy in space exploration. As telescopes grow more powerful and more data becomes available to the public, the question of transparency becomes increasingly vital. Discoveries like this raise an uncomfortable possibility that even in an age of unprecedented access.
Since the dawn of civilization, stories have spoken of a force so powerful it reshapes the world in fire and chaos. The ancients called it the Destroyer, a cosmic harbinger of change, feared by kings, priests, and scholars alike. For centuries, the scholars dismissed the legend as myth, until Dr. Elias Carter, a historian obsessed with forbidden texts, uncovered something terrifying, a prophecy hidden across multiple civilizations, all pointing to the return of the Destroyer. Now, the signs were always there, etched in Sumerian cuneiform, whispered in the Mayan codices, hidden in the lost prophecies of Egypt. The Destroyer is no myth. It is a force that has returned time and time again, leaving ruin in its wake. In 2024, astronomers detected an anomaly, a rogue celestial body moving in an erratic orbit toward Earth. But what stunned the scientific community was that the ancient records already predicted its arrival. From the Great Flood to the fall of empires, every major catastrophe was tied to a cosmic event. Could it be that the Destroyer has been here before, and that it is coming again? The ancients warned us. Before the Destroyer returns, the signs will appear. Fire in the skies, the earth shaking, the forgotten temples revealing their secrets. Across the globe, those signs are happening now. What is the Destroyer? A planetary object? A cosmic force? Or something beyond human comprehension? Some believe it is a lost twin of our sun. Others, a divine cycle of destruction and renewal. Buried beneath the ruins of an ancient civilization, a final warning was left. It will return when man has forgotten the past. Have we ignored the signs for too long? Is history about to repeat itself? Are we witnessing the return of the Destroyer? Is this the cycle that has shaped the rise and fall of civilizations? The answer may already be written in the stars. The Hopis has prophecies about the red and blue Kachinas. Are we in the time of the Great Purification? Like and subscribe for more lost history and ancient mysteries. Be blessed.
Updates for you tonight. Crews are responding right now to a new fire start tonight in Yellowstone National Park.
Mount St. Helens in Washington state is one of the most well-monitored volcanoes on the planet.
In this video, we uncover the growing signs of unrest linking Mount St. Helens and Yellowstone, two of America's most dangerous volcanoes. From skittish wildlife and tremors in Washington to ground uplift and gas surges in Wyoming, scientists fear these giants may be stirring in sync. The Cascades quake, Yellowstone swells, and signals ripple through the crust like whispers of a coming storm. Join us as we explore whether this is coincidence or the beginning of a chain reaction that could rewrite history.
What if the greatest threat to America's heartland isn't a hurricane, a wildfire, or even an earthquake, but a rumbling behemoth miles beneath our feet, awakening when we least expect it? What if the restless groans of Mount St. Helens, a notorious symbol of destruction, have sent a shudder across the very bones of the continent, echoing inside a place almost too colossal, too ancient to comprehend, Yellowstone? For months, in the depths of the Pacific Northwest, a quiet but unmistakable tension has crept over the slopes of Mount St. Helens. Herds of goats, usually unbothered by the timeless volcanic silence, have grown skittish, abandoning grassy knolls for the uncertain safety of lower trails. Tourists once posed for snapshots against the backdrop of lava-scarred ridges, but now, even their laughter seems hushed, as if the mountain itself resents the intrusion. Then came the quakes, gentle at first, like a hand tapping on the window of a sleeping world. But soon, the tapping became knocking, then pounding. Seismic monitors stutter with pulses, gas detectors chirp with warning, and deep below, the crust throbs with a dark potential. News outlets report strange geothermal flashes, new tremors, and, most mysterious of all, signs of movement far beyond Mount St. Helens. For as the mountain shakes, as the earth shifts, silent eyes have turned east to Yellowstone. Here, the oldest, coldest, most powerful volcano in America may be stirring from eons of dormancy. Thermal readings rise. The very ground swells at a speed that startles even lifelong scientists. Is this mere coincidence, or are we witnessing the beginnings of a chain reaction, a message whispered from Cascade Peaks to the ancient caldera beneath Yellowstone? And in the shadow of all this, a single question stands above the rest. Has Mount St. Helens triggered the awakening of a giant whose wrath could reshape history itself? A time bomb reignited. At 8:32 a.m. on May 18, 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted with a curtain of ash and stone, rewriting the landscape in a matter of hours. Forests were razed for miles, roads and rivers vanished under mud and ash, and a deadly blast claimed 57 lives, forever engraving the name St. Helens alongside the era's greatest disasters. But to geologists, even this cataclysm paled beside something older, grander, and far more terrifying. Yellowstone. Yellowstone, the very name pulses with myth. 3 eruptions over the past 2.1 million years have dwarfed Mount St. Helens. Helens a thousandfold. The last one left a caldera so vast, so raw, that an entire national park grew up within its scar. Yet for decades, St. Helens has captured the spotlight. Its jagged profile looms over American memory, an ever-present reminder of the Earth's explosive unpredictability. But while the world watched the restless peak of St. Helens, Yellowstone waited in silence. Until now, in recent months, seismic networks lighting up around Mount St. Helens have painted a troubling picture. It began as a pattern familiar to volcanologists, a deepening swarm of earthquakes clustered below the surface, echoing through the crater's unfinished wound. But something about these tremors feels different. Faint but persistent aftershocks, strange gas signatures, and subtle surface deformation all hint at a deeper disturbance, almost as if the Earth itself were passing a message. Distant sensors at Yellowstone have registered changes. At first, it appeared as background noise, but week by week, the noise collected strength. Ground deformation charts, once stable, now tilt. Gas emissions spike. Satellite imagery begins recording uplift, centimeters of ground, lifting in silence, as if Yellowstone is drawing a slow, deep breath. What connects the two? Can the restless anger of Mount St. Helens truly send seismic instructions hundreds of miles east, through layers of stone and time, to the ancient supervolcano beneath Wyoming? Or is the proximity of events merely a coincidence, a cosmic roll of the dice? As scientists debate, one truth remains certain. Both mountains are stirring, their hearts beating in apparent synchrony. Is the Earth setting the stage for a drama greater than anything seen in centuries? A chain reaction of fire, stone, and upheaval beneath America's feet. Signals in stone, the mysteries of Mount St. Helens. Deep in the forests of the Pacific Northwest, Mount St. Helens wears its scars openly. Its torn summit, a monument to catastrophe. Its valleys, haunted by the ghosts of forests, leveled, and rivers choked with mud. Yet it is not silence that holds dominion here. It is tension. For months now, tension has surged to the surface in ways impossible to ignore. It starts with the animals. Herds of mountain goats, normally unflappable, have abandoned the high meadows. Their sudden migrations, watched by hikers, ignite speculation. What do they sense in the trembling ground that humans cannot? Campers report odd vibrations at night, unfamiliar rumbles that resonate beneath the ground. Park rangers, accustomed to the usual seismic jitters, now check their instruments twice, sometimes 3 times a shift. The data is clear. Seismographs register near constant activity, earthquakes measured in clusters, sometimes so close together they blur. Many of these quakes originate at shallow depths, hinting at fresh magma conduits opening under the volcano's fractured dome. Gas sensors spike unexpectedly. Sulfur, carbon dioxide, and other volcanic gases billow in larger than usual plumes, escaping from steaming cracks along the mountainside. But it's the ground itself that delivers the most chilling warning. Modern GPS arrays and laser reflectors, positioned across peaks and valleys, reveal a truth long suspected, but now caught vividly in real time. The slopes are shifting, expanding, swelling, like a lung filling before a shout. The deformation, though measured in centimeters, is relentless. Initially, response teams hope the episode will fade, as so many swarms have before. But this time, the pattern persists. Local emergency managers refresh evacuation plans. Scientists exchange urgent email, trading theories and calculations. And then, a ripple passes east, where Yellowstone waits. How could the tremors of one volcano become the prelude to another, hundreds of miles away? What secrets lie buried in the waves of pressure crawling invisibly beneath the continent? The Yellowstone caldera, an awakening giant. While Mount St. Helens bares its teeth in violent outbursts, Yellowstone has always preferred the art of patience. For eons, it has simmered beneath Wyoming's vast plains and forests, its presence felt in the geothermal features dotting the landscape, burbling mud pots, boiling springs, and geysers releasing scalding breaths into the air. Yet, it is this silence, more than any roar, that unsettles those who study it. The Yellowstone supervolcano is not defined by the drama of a single peak, but by a labyrinth of magma chambers and fractures. Its last massive eruption, thousands of times more powerful than anything in living memory, transformed much of America, scattering ash as far as the Mississippi and leaving behind a caldera nearly 50 miles across. But in recent months, that silence has grown brittle. The first clues are in the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory's monthly bulletins. To the untrained eye, the charts and numbers look benign until the trend line is traced. The story repeats. Ground uplift, creeping upward at a rate above seasonal averages. Pockets of ground at Norris Geyser Basin and the Mallard Lake Dome shift measurably within weeks. Scientists confirm the Earth here is swelling faster than at times in the recent past. Then come the quakes, at first subtle, buried deep, scattered in clusters. Over time, the frequency builds, and local sensors struggle to keep pace. Associated with these shocks are faint but detectable spikes in volcanic gas emissions. Chemical analyses find higher concentrations of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, classic signs of new magma moving toward the crust. Most disturbing of all, the ground is not just rising, but warping, bulging unevenly across different caldera zones, where before the signals appeared isolated, they now unfold together, captured by sensitive satellite radar. These are the signatures that alert scientists. In a system as vast as Yellowstone, shifts of even a few centimeters can carry profound significance. Could the Earth be delivering a warning?
You had your chance. Now face the